everyone. My name is Elizabeth Manns, and I'd like to welcome you to the April 4th Coalition Show. Our mission statement is, this is the February 12th, 2024 edition of the show. It is the 487th that we have done since the closing of the North Adams Regional Hospital, and the 27th one that we have done since the announcement of its possible reopening. The April 4th Coalition's mission statement is, we are for workers' rights and collective bargaining rights and are against tax breaks for the rich and corporations who ship our jobs overseas. We support all the articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is our custom. We put the emphasis on Article 23. Dick, are you doing 1 and 2?
Yes. Number 1, everyone has the right to work, the free choice of employment, the just and favorable conditions of work, and protection against unemployment. Number 2, everyone, without any discrimination, has the right to equal pay for equal work.
Number 3, everyone who works has the right to just and favorable remuneration, which is any form of compensation for your labor, ensuring for himself or herself and his or her family an existence worthy of human dignity and supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection.
Number 4.
Yep.
Everyone has the right to form and join trade unions for protection of his or her interests.
And as is our custom, we give a thank you to Michael Putnam, who airs the audio portion of our shows on Fridays at 6 p.m. on the public access radio station, WMNB LP 107.1, and to the fabulous staff here at NBCTC for helping us produce the show. So thank you, Joanne, David, and Nicole. And Dick, you wanted to turn back to the war in Gaza today?
Yes, we're calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, and I thought it'd be important to replay a 10-minute section of Democracy Now!, which has Dr. Tariq Haddad, a Palestinian-American leader who refused to meet with Secretary of State Antony Blinken last week in protest. So I'd like to, let's show that video, and let's take a personal look at what this man's family has gone through.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Before U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken left for his 5th Middle East trip since October 7th, he held a roundtable meeting Thursday to discuss the situation in Gaza with a number of Palestinian Americans. But some of them refused to attend in protest against the Biden administration's ongoing support for Israel's assault on Gaza. We're joined now by one of those who refused. Dr. Tariq Haddad is a cardiologist and member of the Virginia Coalition for Human Rights who grew up in Gaza. He laid out his reasoning in a 12-page letter to Blinken. Included in Dr. Haddad's letter were pictures of his family members. One of Blinken's staff reportedly made sure to print the letter in color. Dr. Tariq Haddad joins us now from Falls Church, Virginia. Dr. Tariq Haddad, welcome to Democracy Now! Our condolences to you for the many family members of yours who have been killed in Gaza. If you could begin by talking about what you know of what happened in Gaza to your family members, and then explain this invitation that you received for a meeting with Secretary of State Antony Blinken and why you declined to attend.
Thank you for having me, and appreciate the condolences. I think some context is necessary here to understand why I turned this invitation down. So I have hundreds of family members in Gaza, both sides of my family, both in the town of Khan Yunis and the Gaza city. I've had about 100 family members at this point who have been killed, including physicians, pharmacists, lawyers, engineers, dozens and dozens of children, multiple small babies. I can't tell all their stories, but I just want to tell a few just for the audience. October 25th, 10 members of my family, all three generations of one side of my family, were all killed. My cousin Jumad al-Farra, his son, who was a physician, Dr. Tawfiq al-Farra, his wife, who was pregnant, two of their beautiful daughters, Reem and Hala, Jumad's brother Assam, his wife Samad, their daughters, Rusul, Tuqa, and Nadian. All multiple generations, all killed in one Israeli missile strike. Tuqa, one of the younger women in the family, her wedding day was the day she was killed. They were all from modest means. They actually the three brothers built their home themselves, ironically, the same home that the Israeli strikes destroyed. Another day, a couple days later, my cousins Hatem and Aziz al-Farra from Khan Yunis, who lived literally 20 yards from where I grew up, were killed along with 14 other members of their family, 7 of their children. Aziz was actually a pharmacist, and Hatem was just an incredible community figure who always had a smile on his face, always was available to help anybody who needed it. The day before he was killed, Hatem had just gone up to my uncle and asked if he could house 5 families who were made homeless by the Israeli missile strikes in our grandparents' house. One child out of that whole 3 generations survived. Hamza, he had an amputation, was in the hospital. He woke up to find out his siblings, his parents, his uncles, and his aunts, his grandparents all had died. Excuse me. And then he died himself in the next day from the trauma injuries from the Israeli attacks because there wasn't adequate medical care to keep him alive. A couple days after that, November 2nd, my cousins, Hani, Huda, and Wafat Haddad, all siblings, were killed in Gaza City, along with my cousin Hani's Croatian wife and my aunt. Huda and Wafat were teachers. Hani was an interior decorator. And my cousin Hani initially survived with, as a physician, I can tell you, is a fairly minor leg injury, but then he bled to death the next day because he had no access to any functional medical facilities since they had all been bombed and destroyed by the Israeli attacks. Hani's brother Wa'il survived and then had to witness the horror of seeing his mother buried from the waist up in the rubble, dead. And he saw his sister Wafat shredded into pieces. All of this, they were messaging me and telling me. My other cousin Nail, who I grew up with and had played with as a kid, literally had to bury all his family members in a makeshift grave because he couldn't even access a cemetery. And he's been going 24 hours at a time with no food or water. Even those in my family who actually fled what was thought to be dangerous areas to safe areas have been targeted. One of my cousins, Samar al-Farra, died in a refugee camp in Rafah around the time she had completed her doctorate for her PhD. And we were about to congratulate her on that doctorate when she was killed. There are family members who died from a lack of medical care and inability to access medical care. One of my cousins, Abdul Rahim al-Farra, died because he was unable to reach a functional hospital after he was injured. 4 of my family members got killed in an Israeli bombing of their car while they were ironically trying to go to the Gaza European Hospital for shelter. And then a few weeks ago, Sabri al-Farra, one of my cousins, died with 7 of his sons. And then most recently, just a few days ago, a baby in our family, Sabri al-Farra, who's 20 days old, froze to death, died from hypothermia in the refugee camp that his family was in. And this is after this 20-year-old just froze to death after 9 of his siblings and his father were murdered by the Israeli military strikes a few weeks before. The people in my family who have not been killed, arguably are suffering a fate worse than death. Hundreds of my family are displaced. Not a single one of them is able to stay in their home. All their homes are either damaged or destroyed. One of my family members had to give birth on the rubble of her home that was destroyed, and did not even have clothes to put on her baby. Famine is common. Every one of my family members has mentioned it. They have no access to clean water. They've had to recycle water because there's no access to clean water, and they've had dysentery and gastrointestinal illnesses. Famine, one of my cousins messages me all the time saying he's gone 24 hours without food. So to answer your question, knowing all this and knowing what I've gone through week after week, month after month, checking every morning to see who's alive, who's dead, who's suffered, who can we help? And as the dead rose to 100 in my family, to 15,000 children all across Gaza, to 30,000 civilians, as I saw the famine happen, I just kept looking for evidence that our government actually cares about the lives of my family. And I saw none. I kept waiting for a ceasefire that Secretary Blinken had the ability to do, and he refused to do it. I kept waiting for a United Nations resolution to call for a ceasefire, which the United States continued to veto. I kept waiting for something, and all I saw was the opposite. I saw our U.S. strategic Middle Eastern military reserve being used to replenish the Israeli ammunitions for this genocide. I saw cruelly just a few days ago the withdrawal of funding for the United Nations that was supplying military assistance to these over 2 million people that are going through famine. So getting back to your original question, I wrote this letter to Secretary Blinken because I wanted him to see me and see Palestinians as human beings, not as some part of political game or some sort of blame game. I wanted him to see us for who we were as human beings, and I wanted him to put himself in my shoes and ask himself if he saw his family getting killed day after day, month after month, as a direct result of government's policies, and he knew that somebody in that government could have done something to prevent those 100 people from dying, the suffering of the remaining hundreds of people. How could you sit in a room, given 3 minutes to face that person and face them, knowing that that person has been directly responsible for the death of your family and all the suffering that your family has seen, and do so simply as part of a political grandstanding? And that's why I just ethically could not be there, because actions speak louder than words. And I just wanted him to see us as human beings, to empathize and not play politics and not play games.
Dr. Tariq Haddad, thank you so much for joining us. And again, our condolences for the horrific, the horrors that your family has lived through in Gaza. Dr. Tariq Haddad, cardiologist and member of the Virginia Coalition for Human Rights, who refused to attend a meeting in D.C. with Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
Dick, I'm going to thank you, even though that was very hard and very uncomfortable. It needed to be shown, so I'm going to thank you for that, because like I've said before we were showing it, it's so antiseptic to the majority of us. We just don't identify with the suffering because we're not physically seeing it or hearing about it.
That Haddad name is all over Berkshire County.
It is. Haddad is all over Berkshire County.
Those are people. Let's not get caught up. Like he said, we're individuals. They're people,
They're people.
Our government is funding the bombs, sending the bombs to Israel. We need a ceasefire. We need a diplomatic and a political solution to this problem, not a war solution, not a violent solution.
And to be honest, we actually need the same thing in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, yes, Russia's responsible in continuing it and blocking any solution
Right, they're not willing to
to
negotiate
do
at
it.
this
But
time.
you need
hopefully
the same thing, because
Yeah.
what's going on in Gaza is going on in Ukraine, and it's not. Ukraine doesn't have the
you gotta
capability to
have both
hit.
sides willing to stop.
Stop.
Now, can we shift gears though? Mike, did you want to say something? or-
I'm just saying.
Okay, so
We
we have,
just sit-
we have another video that we wanted to show. We're sort of shifting gears. It's from a More Perfect Union, and it is, they visited a Trump rally for auto workers in Detroit. And this was taped on October 12th, 2023. Let's go right to that video. It's a really interesting video.
Donald Trump event happening just an hour away from here. Yes, no? Have we heard of it? Hey, what's up, guys? Do you know where the auto workers are?
I haven't seen anybody from the UAW.
Nobody from the UAW? Wait, Pawn Stars guy. Why are you here today? Is it for the auto workers? Every now and then, something happens that completely scrambles everything that you thought you knew about politics. Something that brings the bigger picture into focus.
Donald Trump is set to appear outside Detroit to meet with auto workers amidst the ongoing UAW strike.
This big standoff between the auto workers and the big three auto manufacturers. Yeah. Mr. President, whose side are you on in this?
I'm on the side of making our country great.
How's he different than the CEOs here, really?
I don't know if he is.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. That's why I'm on the fence.
We have to find out really where Trump is. Really, what is he willing to do for the union members?
We spent 4 days talking to auto workers in Detroit to understand how this strike was affecting their politics in real time. Who do they trust to have their back in this fight? What do they demand? The results of this next election could hinge on whether we listen. Who's got your vote in 2024?
I don't know yet. We'll have to see what goes on still.
Who's your pick in 2024?
You know, I'm going to go for Trump.
It's not Trump for sure.
It won't be Trump because I feel like he's anti-union.
Yeah.
I really am on the fence.
Sounds like you're waiting for somebody to prove that they're worth your vote.
Exactly.
Is it important to you to have politicians that are on the side of strikers, of workers, of labor?
Yes, if they're going to actually do something.
While we were on the picket line, Biden was visiting another across town, and at the same time, Donald Trump was planning a rally for auto workers at Drake Enterprises, a non-union parts supplier that was not on strike and was miles from the nearest picket line. Trump is coming today to a non-union parts supplier. Does that say anything to you?
That's just the reason I told you I will be looking at the ballot box. It was a non-union. Yeah, that makes a difference.
Was anybody invited to it? No. Nobody was invited to the Donald Trump event? Nothing? Not at all? It's at a non-union parts supplier. What do we think of that? Anybody? How's that go over on the picket line here? I have a sucks ass. What else?
Depends on what he's doing. Depends on what he's doing, right? I don't know why he would do that because it doesn't make sense. I won't know until I see what they have to say.
I don't really know what we're driving into because Donald Trump is here to hold an event, to talk to auto workers. So we are 2 minutes away and have no clue what to expect, but I guess we will find out. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Are those auto workers? Are these people on strike? Like, where are the picket line signs? All I see is Trump merch. Hey guys, is this a picket line? We're here to cover the auto workers.
That's probably back there. I don't know.
I don't know who the auto workers are. I have no idea.
No idea?
No. I don't know if any of these other people here are groups of auto workers or just here for the event.
Cool.
Good answer.
Haven't found any auto workers yet, but we're hot on the trail here. Anybody auto workers?
Not me.
How about y'all? Any auto workers here? No auto workers. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Hey, how you doing? Good. Hey, we're looking for auto workers to talk to. Are any of that? Looking for auto workers to try. We were covering pickets today. Are you an auto worker?
30 years.
Get out of town. Do you mind if we talk to you? You said you've been on the line for 30?
30 years, yeah.
30 years. Member of the UAW?
Yeah. We didn't get raises for 15, 16 years. Everything that they're fighting for is 100% what they need.
Is it weird to have the media cover this as Donald Trump coming to talk to auto workers when there's not an auto worker to be found?
It's very weird.
Has Donald Trump talked to you yet?
No, but no, seriously, this is why I'm here trying to figure out. This is why I was making phone calls before I came here. It was very confusing to me.
Right. So what I would ask is,
here he comes.
Are you guys going to try to get into this to actually?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be able to make it in.
We couldn't get in either, so we watched the rally from our hotel room.
In other words, your current negotiations don't mean as much as you think. I mean, I watch you out there with the pickets, but I don't think you're picketing for the right thing. Do me a favor. Just get your union guys, your leaders, to endorse me.
Since Tony was the only auto worker that we found at the Rally for Auto Workers, we paid him a visit the next morning to understand how he was sorting all of this out for himself. So this is a pile of memories, right?
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah, this is 30 years.
Yeah.
This is a letter that they give William Clay Ford Jr., congratulating you on your time. This is 25 years. This is 10 years. 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
You were probably 1 year old.
I was, yeah.
I don't think too many people realize how important the union is. It's very important to take knowledge from the people who are doing it every day. I think it's important to listen to the workers. I was very disappointed in Trump. I almost didn't go to that rally, and I thought, what is Trump doing?
Yeah.
Okay, those were the things that popped in my head. What is he doing? There's no way, if I was his advisor, would this thing have gotten to where it is. I would have called Sean and said, we are on our way.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we are on our way. We're going to come to the line. I'm going to show you who I am. Let's put him on the spot. Let's really see where he's at. Let's meet with Joe Biden and really see where he's at. Biden comes, grabs a bullhorn, and he's screaming out, yeah, I'm with you guys, I'm with you guys. But that's what Bill Clinton did. I'm with you guys, I'm with you guys. Next thing you know, it NAFTA is being signed in, and it's like, well, you're not with us.
The more we talked to workers, the more we heard a version of the same story.
I remember as a kid, my dad voted Democrat all day.
Yeah.
I never voted a Democrat.
Yeah.
Never did. Because they don't tell you that they support the job.
Yeah.
But they don't.
We thought that the Clinton administration was for us, but they put in a NAFTA program, which messed us up really bad in the long run.
I just feel they've gotten away from a lot of things that used to be important here in Michigan. Everybody's on the fence. Believe me, everybody's on the fence, and I don't feel like we have a good two candidates.
Why in the last 50 years did the union go from 1,500,000 to 400,000? If they've been voting Democrat for the last 50 years and the Democrats keep on showing up and saying we're going to protect your jobs, why did we lose 1 million jobs just in the union? What are they protecting? So that's why it's very, very hard to make a decision on who you're going to believe.
What I'm hearing from you is that in the complete lack of support for labor that you feel by the Democratic Party, Trump is the solution for you.
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
In our time in Detroit, there's pretty much only one leader who everyone, regardless of their politics, has spoken positively about.
He definitely making some moves right now. He forcing their hand to see what you got for us.
He will rip your contract up and throw it in the trash can.
Because that's where it belongs, the trash.
On TV.
I really like Sean Fain. It's about time we got somebody that's standing, excuse my French, balls to the wall.
People accuse us and say this is class warfare. There's been class warfare going on in this country for the last 40 years. The billionaire class has been taking everything and leaving everybody else to fight for the scraps.
Do you think we need that kind of leadership in all other industries?
Yes, I do.
Everywhere there's corporate greed.
Pretty much.
Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall.
In the last decade, these companies made $250 billion in profit. In the last 6 months alone, they made $21 billion in profit. The companies want to say that, if we strike, it can wreck the economy. It's not that we're going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy, the economy that only works for the billionaire class. It doesn't work for the working class.
I think he has got some old school in him, which is what I like. He's willing to put it on the line. I really am going to be very happy if Sean and Trump get in a room together and talk. I really want Sean to put him on the spot. I really want to see the truth come out, if he's with the membership or if he's not.
I find a pathetic irony that the former president is going to hold a rally for union members at a non-union business. And all you have to do is look at his track record. In 2008, during the Great Recession, He blamed UAW members. He blamed our contracts for everything that was wrong with these companies.
I think that the unions are really, really hurting very badly what's going on with the autos. They get their little 5%, they get another 2%, they get another 3%, 4%. Then all of a sudden they're making more money than the people that own the company.
In 2015, when he was running for president, he talked about doing a rotation, taking all these good paying jobs in the Midwest and moving them somewhere in the South where people work for less money, and then to make people beg for their jobs back at lower wages. And the ultimate show of his how much he cares about our workers was in 2019 when he was the president of the United States.
Thank you very much.
Where was he then? Our workers at GM were on strike for 60 days, for 2 months. They were out there on the picket lines. I didn't see him hold a rally. I didn't see him stand up at the picket line. And I sure as hell didn't hear him comment about it.
Let's get your reaction to that.
Well, if he's speaking the truth about everything that he said, then I agree with what he just said.
Agree with?
I agree with Sean. If he's against the workers, then I'm against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The workers in my heart are first.
Yeah.
I'm a worker. You know, I got food on the table because I went into work every day for 30 years. I know what it's like to be a worker.
We're not out here trying to be millionaires. I don't need to make as much as Mary Barra does. I'm not mad that Mary Barra is a millionaire and makes a ton of money. Good for her. Good for her. Greed is not the desire for more, it's the desire for more at the expense of what it's right. If you're giving yourself huge raises while your employees are struggling because of inflation, then it's not right.
So for people like Tony, for workers on the line, what would inspire trust in politics again? What would make them actually believe that someone is looking out for them? Is just showing up on a picket line, say for someone like Joe Biden, enough?
No. You standing here with me, ain't putting no food on my table.
Show it. Show it.
Show me.
For me, I'm going to look at everything. I don't care about what party you're with. I care about what your policies are.
Whose side are you on? Are you on the working class or are you on the millionaire side?
I'll be honest. If Sean Fain was running for president, I'd vote for him.
When we win this fight, when we right the wrongs of the past 15 years and longer, and when we set a new course for future generations, it won't be because of any president, not the UAW president, not the president of the United States. It will be because ordinary people did extraordinary things. Our solidarity is our strength. And right now, our strength is the hope of working class people everywhere. Let's stand up and win this thing.
Okay.
That was quite a...
I mean, it's a juxtaposition. And it's, to be honest, when I was in union, that's what I heard. I mean, you always hear the same thing. They want concrete proof that you're on their side, you know. And it could be argued that Biden's created jobs, so therefore he's more on your side than our ex-president who didn't create jobs in his tenure.
He didn't go on TV saying the union was the problem.
No, he didn't.
But,
he didn't get active. But
the big key I got out of that is people in solidarity working together.
Yeah.
We have to cut through this, all this divisiveness of, you know, we know who the enemy is. The enemy is poverty, and we have to eliminate poverty, you know, and be in solidarity. You know, all workers that work should earn enough money where they don't need any public assistance.
that would be nice, yes.
Yeah.
Enough that they can have housing and food and clothing on the table.
That's what we'll be, you know, we won't
As you
divide us if
often say, you don't want the rich to not be rich. You just want them to slow down on how fast they get rich so that there's more in the pot for everyone else.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully the union, like I said, really put an effort into it to shut them down. Nobody crosses the picket line. That's the way it goes.
Hopefully.
Let's look forward to what more of Sean Fain and what he has to say.
And that's going to be it for our
thank
show
you very
today.
much.
Thank you for watching Power to the People.
Power to the people. You got it, kid. All right.
It's because we ran long.
There's power in the factory, power in the land, power in the hand of the worker. But it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand. There is power in our fight for. From the cities and the farmlands to trenches.